Are you sick of looking at Netflix and you don't know what to watch?
So many movies out there, you don't know which ones are good, which ones were bad.
You curious about what's out there?
I'm Joey Powers.
I'm Don Tretler.
This is The Best Pictures.
The ones you don't want to miss.
Hit it.
Say hello to my little friend.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Winners go home and prom queen.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I don't deserve this. Deserves got nothing to do with it. No sequel for you.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of The Best Pictures. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Powers.
Hey, and I'm Don Tretler. Welcome to the show. This is a show where we talk about
Movies. And this week we're going to be talking about How to Win an Oscar Part 2. But Don, first, if you want to...
Well, before we continue, we want to let everyone know that this show is broadcast live from the Fact TV studios in Bellows Falls. Fact TV is a community access center that provides studio space and production services free of charge to community members in southern Vermont and Keene. If you're interested in creating your own show, or you're already producing content and wish to submit it, or if you want to stay informed about news and events in southern Vermont and Keene, including live coverage of local town meetings, sporting events, and community events, visit fact8.com. So yeah, you could do a show just like this. If you're looking at the TV and you're going, hey, who are these two schmoes? I could do better than that. Well, get your own show.
Yeah, come on down and do it. Just don't do movies.
We've been doing this for several years.
We have movies covered, so... but quickly, I just want to mention the weekend box office. Twister's open, not surprisingly, number one. I think it did better than they expected. It made $81.3 million. Despicable Me 4, 24.4, Inside Out 2, 12.8, Longlegs, which we're going to go see on Thursday, by the way, 12.0, and A Quiet Place Day 1, 6.3. So that was the weekend box office.
Wow, so like horror movies and some of the family stuff, Pixar movies for kids.
I mean, outside of Longlegs, nothing original. They're all either sequels or remakes.
Oh, right.
You know? I mean, it's like Despicable Me 4, Inside Out 2, A Quiet Place Day 1, and Twisters is a remake of the original Twister movie.
Right.
So it's just like, Hollywood's out of ideas.
I said that years ago about Broadway. I said, everything that was playing on Broadway was basically something that was redone or something adapted from a movie. Like they tried to do Sunset Boulevard. They tried to do On the Waterfront. Very few original things. And, they're basically, when money's involved, they're afraid to try something new. This is why, like, independent cinema became such a big thing, like Sundance. It's such a big thing because people got to finally put out new ideas.
Right, yeah.
And it's a big thing because now they found a way to cash in on that as well. So I always say that, I don't get interested in a lot of the big budget movies anymore.
No, because they're not original. They're really not. There's like so many few things that are original nowadays. It's just, but Longlegs does look interesting.
It does.
It definitely intrigues me. Nicolas Cage. I don't know if he actually is the serial killer or not, but we'll find out.
Right. Well, speaking of new movies, are we able to play like the trailer to Deadpool?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna go see that too, right?
Yeah.
That's like this weekend, I think. Yeah, it's Friday, the 26th. That's this weekend.
Right. Yeah, that's why I brought the trailer. I thought we'd do it ahead of time.
I wonder if they're gonna get in town.
Oh, maybe.
If they do, we'll figure something out.
They must be tired of the movie that they have. What's the one that they got? Despicable Me?
Oh, is that still playing?
Oh, it's been playing for like 4 weeks.
That's the problem. When they open something, they have to...
I bet there's like 2 kids in the theater, last weekend.
Yeah.
We can't see it, though.
No.
I know I turn everything into a joke, but I care. Or I want to use that for something important. I waited a long time for this team up. In my world, You're well regarded. You were an X-Man. Fuck that, you were the X-Man. The Wolverine. He's a hero in my world.
Yeah, well, he ain't shit in mine. Scott used to beg me to wear this suit. So did Storin and Beast. But I couldn't have him thinking I wanted to be there. It was too late.
It's only 9 people, but my entire world is right here in this picture. And I have no idea how to save it alone, but you know how to save it.
Whoever you think I am, you got the wrong guy.
You were always the wrong guy. Till you weren't.
Are you ready? Fuck yeah, I'm ready. I'm the Wolverine. Stop it.
So, I mean, what do you think? I mean, I definitely want to see that.
Yeah, very
You know,
exciting.
I mean, I love both Deadpool movies. I own both of them. Actually, when I worked at Cafe 7, we had like a little, because we literally were right next to the Opera House. We had like a little pregame party before Deadpool 2 came out, and then we all went, like the whole crew went and saw it together. It was a blast.
Well,
It was
that's
a lot
cool.
of fun, yeah. But yeah, adding Hugh Jackman to Deadpool, I mean, it's going to be huge. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be an awesome movie, so I'm looking forward to it. We should definitely figure out.
So we figure that's probably going to knock the box office over next week.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely take over Twisters, no question. I mean, the first Deadpool, I want to say it was in like the 340, 350 range, million wise, just domestically.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's going to open at easily probably 120, 130 million dollars. You know, I mean, like I said, just adding Hugh Jackman and Jennifer Garner to like, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, franchise that already has made a lot of money. You know, it's not going to do any worse, you know, and it's supposedly supposed to be the last one, so hopefully not. But like, Ryan Reynolds owns Deadpool. He's so, like, perfect in that role.
Yeah.
You know, and it's almost like that's him. Like, not even him acting. Like, that's just how he is in real life, you know. But it's just, yeah, we got to figure it out. Hopefully BF gets it this weekend and we can go see it.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. Maybe
Yeah.
it'll be.
Definitely. But so last week we left off, Al Pacino was our last.
Al Pacino. And what was that, like 1990?
92. Best actor for Scent of a Woman.
Right.
Which, I don't know if we agreed on it or not, but I still think that they gave it to him just to give him an Oscar.
You think so?
I do. I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was that great of a performance.
Yeah, we were saying, I mean, he had some pretty stiff competition. He had Robert Downey Jr. for playing Charlie Chaplin.
I feel like Robert Downey Jr. was probably better in Chaplin than Al Pacino was in Scent of a Woman.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And then Denzel Washington is Malcolm
which
X.
I haven't seen, but you said he knocked it out of the park, which
Oh,
he does.
yeah.
Every movie he does. So, I mean, it's... but the next 2 years... I mean, and Tom Hanks, Big, he was nominated for Best Actor for Big, which I think a lot of people don't know that he was because it's a comedy.
Going back, what year was that?
88. But he was really good in Big. And it might have been the 89 year, depending on...
They must have really liked, I mean, I haven't seen that movie in years, but I mean, him being able to play a kid in a man's body.
Yeah, I just watched it recently. I love that movie. That might be my favorite Tom Hanks movie of all the movies he's done.
Yeah?
Yeah. You know, actually, it's funny. I know this is off subject, but I just watched Splash, too.
Really?
Which I haven't seen in a really long time, and that's nowhere near as good as it was when I was younger.
No.
That's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie?
I mean,
Oh, wow.
I think it got like a 6.4, but it's like...
I probably saw it back in the day, and it probably made like a ton of money. It was, everybody saw it.
Oh,
back
yeah,
in the
yeah.
day.
No, it was big, and she was still pretty... And Daryl Hannah was pretty big at the time as well.
Right.
You know, so... But anyway, so Tom Hanks won back-to-back years for Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. And do you want to go over the guidelines again?
Well, let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. So the
So we have-
guidelines were to winning. You had to be, it has to be a biopic, so you're playing somebody that was real, biography. Massive weight gain or weight loss.
Right.
Playing somebody that's gay,
Right.
or playing somebody with a disability.
Right.
So almost all of the all of the Best Actor winners fit that criteria. Probably we said what, like 80%?
Yeah, at least.
90%?
I'd say probably closer to 90%. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's like 4 out of every 5 years.
So the first year he won for Philadelphia,
Right.
where he was
So
gay.
he was gay.
Yes.
And was it a biography too?
I don't know if it
true
was a
story?
biography, but look at some of the other This is a powerhouse list of actors: Daniel Day-Lewis, Lawrence Fishburne, Anthony Hopkins, Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Those are who he was up against, and Liam Neeson was in Schindler's List, which you rate very. I haven't seen it,
Oh,
but
yeah,
you
that's-
rate very, very highly. I think it's in the top 10 on IMDb all time.
Oh yeah.
But those are all like, Daniel Day-Lewis has an Oscar. Anthony Hopkins has an Oscar. Lawrence Fishburne, I haven't seen What's the Love Got to Do with It. Have you?
Yeah.
Like, how was that?
I think he was really good. I don't. He played Ike Turner to. I'm trying to think who the female actress.
Angela
was.
Bassett.
Angela Bassett
Was
right.
Tina Turner, yeah. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was really good. And then the next year, he won for Forrest Gump. Disability. Again, Tom Hanks, Morgan Freeman, Paul Newman, John Travolta, Nigel Hawthorne. That's
What do you think, Vince? John Travolta as Vince Vega.
that's my favorite movie, so I'm biased.
Yeah.
So I would say he should have won. I think Tom Hanks was probably better, but
And that was kind of his comeback. John Travolta,
Yeah.
who had been big maybe like 10 years earlier,
Right.
hadn't done a whole lot.
nothing. Yeah.
Is that his only nomination, John Travolta's?
No, he was nominated for Saturday Night Fever.
He was, you're right.
Yes.
I should have known that.
So, you're talking like 16. I think Saturday Night Fever was 1978.
Right.
And this was 1994. So, it's a pretty big gap.
So let's see. So Vincent Vega, well, he doesn't really fit the criteria. Paul Newman, Nobody's Fool. He doesn't fit that.
Have you seen
criteria.
that?
Yeah.
I really liked that. I was surprised.
Excellent movie.
It wasn't something I think I would ever watch. And it was on TV one day, and I watched it. I thought it was really good. And he's really good. Paul Newman was
yeah.
always a really good actor.
I don't know if you could do the movie without him. I think he was that good. I think he was that good in that movie. And he doesn't do anything amazing. He doesn't, he doesn't flail his arms about and scream and yell or anything like that. It's
Right.
it's not that type of thing. But he just embodies that character.
Yeah, no, he was very good in it.
And he's great. Nigel Hawthorne, that's one that The Madness of King
I
George.
have not seen that.
So that one, basically, it's in the title, The Madness. It's basically
Right.
King George, loses his mind. He's real good. He could have won. He could have won that year. And Morgan Freeman, Shawshank Redemption. Well, Morgan Freeman eventually won anyway. He won.
Number 1 rated movie all time on IMDb.
Right.
I watch that movie probably once every 3 or 4 months, and I don't get how it's number 1. It's a great movie, but why? I just don't get it.
Right.
I don't know. It's a great movie. I literally watch it all the time, but I don't think it's even better than Pulp Fiction. And that's a year where you look at the movies. Forrest Gump, Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Quiz Show,
Right.
and what was the other movie that was nominated that year? I don't think it was Ed Wood, but that was like a heavy hitter year for movies.
Right.
Any other year, any one of those movies could have won Best Picture.
You know what? I'm going to try to bring it up. Let's
it
see
was
if I
definitely
can-
Forrest Gump, Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Quiz Show, and I don't remember the 5th one. It wasn't the Full Monty. That was 96. Because that was another year we always talk about. But that's also a year that we've talked about before where someone should have won an Oscar, but someone else got it, and you're like, how did that happen?
Right.
Because Samuel L. Jackson, as much as I'm not a big fan of Samuel L. Jackson, should have won Best Supporting Actor for Pulp Fiction. But Martin Landau won for Ed Wood. Ed Wood, I don't know if you watched that, but that was a boring movie.
Ed Wood was?
I didn't care for it at all.
That's what, Tim Burton?
Yeah, Johnny Depp was Ed Wood. I think Sarah Jessica Parker, Martin Landau played Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
But it's like
I think they just liked his portrayal of Bela Lugosi.
But he wasn't better than Samuel L. Jackson. I just watched Pulp Fiction, and I'm like, he kills that role. He's outstanding in that movie, and I do not like Samuel L. Jackson, but he was great as Jules. But 95, Nicolas Cage, Leaving Las Vegas, Alcoholic. That's a disability, right? I mean,
That's right.
I mean, that absolutely is. Anthony Hopkins, again, nominated for Nixon. Sean Penn, who I think should have won this year for Dead Man Walking.
Okay, I wanted to look. Okay, 1994, Forrest Gump, right?
Yep.
Four Weddings and a Funeral,
Oh,
Pulp Fiction,
Four
Quiz Show, Shawshank Redemption.
Four Weddings and a Funeral. That was a surprise hit. Nobody saw that one coming. That like made Hugh Grant famous. But yeah, so Anthony Hopkins and Nixon. I didn't think Nixon was that great, but Anthony Hopkins is one of those actors that just seems like he's good in everything.
Right.
Like he's been nominated a lot. He just won.
Is that
for,
Oliver Stone?
Yes. He just won for The Father a couple years ago.
Right, he won again.
Which a lot of people were surprised because they thought Chadwick Boseman was going to win for.
Oh, right.
I don't remember what it was, but he was like the projected winner, and then
What
Anthony,
was it called? Miss something's. Oh man, I forget everything nowadays. Let's see. There it is. Anthony Hopkins, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom,
Oh, right,
and he was good. I mean, Chadwick Boseman, but he died that year.
right.
And he was really good in the movie. Not to knock it down, but Anthony Hopkins. I don't know.
He's just good in everything.
He is. He's good in everything
I mean,
he does.
He's always going to be remembered as Hannibal Lecter.
He's a pro.
No, he is absolutely. I mean, he's great.
You know what the first Anthony Hopkins, and I know he did a lot of stuff before that, but he did a movie. And he had a dummy. And the dummy came to life. The ventriloquist dummy.
I don't know what you're talking about, but this sounds interesting.
Oh shoot! I should look this up and find. I know. Wait a minute. I'm going to look it up because I got. Maybe you are going to want to see it. It was really popular back in the day.
So I'm going to skip a year and go to '97. Jack Nicholson for As Good as It Gets. One of the most memorable characters of all time, Melvin Udall.
He's a guy that it's really hard. He puts his stamp on these roles.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be hard for somebody to have beat him. Anyway, I mean, he gets a good lead role, good meaty lead.
Obviously,
like
he has a disability, But I mean, this another year. I mean, Matt Damon, Good Will Hunting, Robert Duvall, The Apostle, Peter Fonda, Ulysse Gold, Dustin Hoffman, Wag the Dog. That's a lot of very famous people. Wag the Dog. I don't know if you saw that or not, but I did not like that movie.
No, I wasn't.
With Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro,
yeah.
and it was Barry Levinson directed it. And it was stupid.
It just kind of fell flat.
Yeah, it was just I couldn't.
That's kind of like what I was saying about Amsterdam. Amsterdam had a great cast.
Right, great director.
Huge
cast, right? Like an absolutely huge cast. Yeah.
I just watched it again. Did I tell you this?
No.
I watched it again because I just couldn't believe that I didn't like the movie. So I went back. I watched it. I don't know. I don't understand what's wrong with that movie. There's something wrong with it. I can't figure it out. It just doesn't hit it out of the park. It should. It's got the what do they call it? It's got the, I can't think of the word.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I know they have it at the library. I should take it out just to check it out.
Here we go. Magic. Magic is the Anthony Hopkins movie.
Magic.
It gets 6.8.
Amsterdam gets like what, a 6.3? I think you said.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's above the Mendoza line, but it's not like that's not something.
It's watchable, but you would have thought it would be something
a lot better with the cast. Absolutely.
And I think I think it's a pretty. It's a cool movie, and it's got. Oh man, now I'm forgetting his name. Christian Bale, who's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah. Oh, Christian Bale's excellent, absolutely an excellent actor. 98. I know this isn't necessarily on the list, but Roberto Benigni won for Life Is Beautiful.
Right.
Over Tom Hanks and Saving Private Ryan. I have a problem with that.
Tom Hanks could have won 3 years in a row.
I have a problem with that whole year because Saving Private Ryan should have won every friggin' Oscar. And it didn't win Best Picture. He didn't win Best Actor. It's like, well, what was the problem with that? I mean, that was a good year too, though. I watched American History X recently. Edward Norton kills that.
He does.
I mean, he's a great actor.
That might be like his best film.
I think so. Because you watched Primal Fear recently, right?
Oh yeah, and he was really good in it.
But you didn't like that as much as American History X.
No, I just didn't like I didn't like the end.
Yeah,
Primal Fear. Something about that just didn't work for me.
I think you're going to be surprised when I tell you this, but American History X is very highly rated.
Oh yeah, I'll bet 8.5.
I think so. Which I don't know if I wouldn't give it an 8.5. But I mean, it's definitely a very good movie. I was surprised when I saw how high it was.
Now, Edward Norton is still a good actor, but he doesn't seem to be getting a lot of like really big important roles. He's been getting he has a lot of supporting roles.
Yeah.
And I think he's got.
Didn't he piss people off?
He must.
I think he did. I think people didn't like working with him. But American History X is 8.5. It's number 41, which I mean I liked it, but I don't know if it's that good. Like
No?
I think it's rated higher some other movie. Like I know it's rated higher than Platoon, which I disagree with. I think Platoon's better. It's rated higher than Good Will Hunting, which I disagree with. I think Good Will Hunting's better.
Wow.
But that's me. I mean, obviously, other people disagree. What do you think?
I'd have to go back and watch American History X again, but right off the top of my head, I think you're right. Platoon, I don't know, Platoon should probably be higher. What was the other one you said?
Good Will Hunting.
Oh yeah, that should probably be
I've
higher,
watched.
too.
It's funny because I've watched all 3 of those movies in like the last month. Another one that we talk about all the time though is Fight Club gets an 8.8. There's no way that movie is an 8.8. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a good movie, but it's not an 8.8. You can't tell me that's up there with The Godfather.
No.
Like, it's not even close. Like, not even remotely close. It's not in the same sentence as The Godfather.
No.
But it gets an 8.8. It's like, I'm going to tell you, I swear it's in the top 10.
It's good. It's a really good movie, but it's just not the greatest movie. I don't know, like not in my opinion.
It's number 13 of all movies all time. It's rated 13 on IMDb. It does get an 8.8.
I think it kind of suffers. I hate to say this, but I've read several of the books that guy, the author that wrote that book, and it has the same thing. His books get to a certain point, and then it has kind of a drop off. Kind of drops off a cliff at the climax. I don't know. That's kind of me. It's kind of my opinion of it. And I do like him. I like the guy as a writer and everything too. And I like those guys. I mean, that's good.
Oh, no, and
Brad Pitt, Edward Norton.
That's a really good cast. And Helena Bonham Carter is a pretty good actress too.
Right. And Meatloaf.
And Meatloaf, yes. But it's not an 8.8. It's not. It's not that high. I mean, you can't tell me that's better than Taxi Driver.
No.
It's not better than Taxi Driver. That's higher than Goodfellas. Like, The Departed? No way. There's no way. I don't we're rambling. So 99, Kevin Spacey won for American Beauty. One of those, again, performances where...
The band,
Yes,
Kevin Spacey.
yes. We're not even supposed to talk about this. I don't know what we're talking about.
He has to be erased.
Yes, and we can't talk about Shakespeare in Love either, which beat Saving Private Ryan for Best Picture because Harvey Weinstein won an Oscar for it, and we can't talk about him either. But that was a good year. I mean, Russell Crowe for The Insider, Sean Penn's Sweet and Lowdown. Sean Penn gets nominated almost every year, and Denzel Washington. A lot of people thought he was going to win for The Hurricane,
Right.
and but you can't argue with Kevin Spacey.
No, he was great, and it was a great movie.
Outstanding. I mean, I went and saw that in the BF theater when it came out, and I loved that movie.
Yeah.
It's and he just owns that role. You know, he just, I mean, what do we consider him as far as? Because we know, like he doesn't really fit the criteria, I guess, technically, of what we're talking about. But I mean, it's a middle-aged man in love with a high school girl. He's going through like a midlife crisis.
Yeah, he doesn't fit our 4 criteria.
No, but it's just, who
He's
cares?
one of the
It's just fun to talk about because it's such a fun movie and it was a great performance.
It is.
So
and I guess that movie is not supposed to be politically correct because he lusts after a young girl.
Right. His daughter's best friend.
Right.
On top of it, Adrian Brody, 2002, for The Pianist. What did you think? I thought that was kind of an upset.
Yeah.
Because that's a biopic, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been an upset because Adrian Brody wasn't really, you didn't think of him as like this great actor at the time.
And Roman Polanski won Best Director, and obviously he wasn't there to accept it. But I thought Jack Nicholson was the favorite to win for About Schmidt.
He was really good. It's underrated. I think that's an underrated performance and an underrated film.
You know who another? Well, okay, this is another example we just talked about. Daniel Day-Lewis for Gangs of New York. How did he not win?
It's hard not to.
How did he not win for Bill the Butcher? I mean, he killed that. I told you I just watched that.
I think it's a villain. I think a lot of times the Academy is really reluctant to reward a villain. So they did it they did it with Denzel Washington, and they kind of did it with Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter.
Right, Hannibal Lecter, yeah.
But normally they don't tend to want to glorify that type of stuff.
All right, so this another huge year, 2004. Jamie Foxx won for Ray.
Yeah, blind.
Can't.
So he
And
fits that
biopic.
character as blind
And
biopic. There
You know,
go.
I mean, but you can't argue with that. I mean, and there were a lot of good nominees that year. I mean, Don Cheadle for Hotel Rwanda, Leonardo DiCaprio for The Aviator, and Clint Eastwood for $1 Million Baby.
Yeah.
I didn't see Finding Neverland, and I don't like Johnny Depp, so I wouldn't consider him as a.
Well, so I think they got that one right. I mean, Jamie Foxx.
Oh no, I definitely do too. But I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio was great in The Aviator, and I didn't like $1 Million Baby, but you really liked $1 Million Baby.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think Clint Eastwood's performance was anything amazing.
No, I don't. Jamie Foxx definitely was the right choice, and he was actually also nominated for Best Supporting Actor in the same year for Collateral, which was actually a really good movie with him and Tom Cruise.
Right. I guess, well, geez, that was 20 years ago, and Jamie Foxx was huge.
Yeah.
Because right about the same time they did Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, that was good. I really liked that movie.
That's weird. Now, we're talking about 20 years ago. Jamie Foxx kind of just dropped off. He did a war movie, too. About Iraq.
Oh, yeah, Jarhead.
Jarhead, yeah.
Yeah.
He was big.
Yeah.
Now you hardly see him at all.
Not at all. So we have time for one more year. This year, I totally disagree with because this was a huge year. Philip Seymour Hoffman, 2005, won for Capote. Philip Seymour Hoffman was a great actor. I'm not taking anything away from him, but he was not better than Joaquin Phoenix as Johnny Cash.
I meant to watch Walk the Line before we did the show.
There's no way he was better than him in Walk the Line. And we always talk about how David Strathairn always gets overlooked and stuff. Good night and good luck. You thought that performance was spot on, right?
Oh, yeah. That was his big performance of his career.
Heath Ledger was also nominated for Brokeback Mountain. I didn't think the performance was great. I didn't think it was. I mean, obviously we saw how good of an actor he is when he won for The Dark Knight.
That's Ang Lee, right?
Yes.
Brokeback Mountain.
Yes.
I don't know that.
And Terrence Howard was nominated for Hustle and Flow.
I didn't see that.
Which I haven't seen either.
But we like Terrence Howard.
He's a good actor, and you just watched Heart's War.
Right.
So I'm going to check that out. But we are running out of time. So we do have one more episode if you want to do another episode of this.
Should we do this?
I think so. It's fun. Unless you want to mix it up and do something else. Maybe we'll
we'll do the 20 years. We'll do the 20 years since then.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about Long Legs, too.
Yeah,
so
definitely. Yeah, because we'll see it.
Yeah, seeing that on Thursday.
We'll get to review it.
So this has been our episode of The Best Pictures. I'm one of your hosts, Joey Powers.
Hey, and I'm Don Tretler. These are the ones you don't want to miss.
You need to come up with more.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. Here's Johnny.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Life moves pretty fast.
You own that one?
You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.